Many years have passed to this incident, where humans was on the verge of destruction, so humans decided to migrate from the land to floating cities. This was caused by magical armor insects, which are known as the devil beetles. These floating cities are safe because of sky wizards, as wizards are in continuous fight with the beetles to make the floating city safer. A fire team from the Sky Wizards Academy consists of 4 people: Kanata, Chloe, Yuri, and Alwyn. These fighters are induced with a class of beetles named Arcanars. We then get to know that Kanata was the strongest swordsman. He is now known as a traitor, because during the fight Kanata asked everyone to retrieve while he fought alone. Fast forward as 6 months have passed. In the Sky Wizard Academy, the leader of the academy, Freon, calls Chloe. He calls her in to discuss the bad performance of new firefighters Misora, Lecty, and Rico. Freon tells Chloe to appoint a new leader for them. Chloe recommends Kanata without any hesitation. Kanata is currently working in the logistics department when Alwyn conveys the message that Freon wants to meet him, so he leaves his work to meet Freon. While he is on his way, he gets to meet Misora, Lecty, and Rico in such a way that they label him as a pervert. Kanata meets Freon and agrees to be the Misfit Girls' instructor in order to regain his respect. The 3 Misfit Girls sit down to talk about Kanata being a pervert and about their instructor. At the same time, Kanata walks into the classroom, and seeing the girls refuse to train, he gives them the challenge to defeat him in a training match, and the training will be over. The 3 accept the challenge. All of them go high up the mountains, and Kanata refuses to use his sword on them. He tells the girls to find him and bring him down. Although he allows the girls to use their weapons, Misora decides to chase Kanata on her own, indicating the lack of teamwork. During the test match, Kanata was able to notice the pros of the team, which is known as 601. Misora, for example, has good speed and stamina. Rico has an amazing strategy for combining Lecty's sniping with her skills. There are also cons to the team, like Lecty being nervous when facing the enemies and Rico's aim being too accurate and easy to dodge, while Misora keeps trying to find Kanata on her own. After the match, the girls head to their changing rooms, where Kanata appears and tells them about their training. Girls accuse Kanata of being a pervert again. Back in the classroom, Kanata tells Team 601 about their individual training starting tomorrow. Rico, being obstinate, refuses to board the train. Misora tries her best to stop her, but Kanata tells the other 2 to focus on their individual training. Staring at Lecty, he tells her to go and distribute flyers among students in a cafe, as it will help her build confidence. He gives Misora the task of finding Rico's weakness. Rico spots Misora right away. Lecty wears a costume to interact with and attract the customer to take a pamphlet from them. Misora passes by the cafe shop and notices a nervous Lecty. To make her feel better, she also wears the costume to sell the pamphlet. Lecty gains confidence when a group of schoolboys takes a pamphlet from her. After the training, Misora and Lecty meet Kanata. They both tell him about their social anxiety and how they failed the task. Lecty feels insecure about herself because of her social anxiety and nervousness, but Kanata tells her that they will find a way out. Kanata reassures them and even treats them to ice cream to keep them motivated. Later at night, Chloe sneaks into Kanata's room. Kanata, who was busy thinking about Misora by looking at her profile. In order to make Misora a good wizard, it was important for her to start from the beginning. Kanata devises a scheme to force Misora to switch from the Vanguard Magic Cannon sword to the Middle Guard Magic Cannon, so that she could truly learn how to use a plan. The next day, when she is told about it, Misora dislikes his plan and calls him a useless instructor before leaving his room. A heartbroken Misora goes to her mother's grave and swears that she will not give up on her, as her mother was also a wizard. Kanata goes to Misora's family cafe to learn more about her mother. There, Misora's father, Gale, tells him about the death of Misora's mother. She died during a mission to save the city. When she died, no one remembered anything about her because she was also a wizard. Now Misora kept on asking everyone about her mother, but everyone acted like she never existed. So Misora went to 2 sky wizards who told her about her mother's death. Kanata asks Gale about the reason behind Misora's obsession with magic. Gale responds by explaining that she is attempting to preserve her mother's legacy. Kanata goes to find Misora and finds her at her mother's grave. There he tries to convince Misora to leave her mother's sword and train with a lower-level sword. After seeing Misora stand firm in her decision, Kanata decides to help Misora anyway. The next day, Misora starts her training with Kanata. Rico, who is watching this from a distance, is very happy about it. The next day, Alwyn meets with Kanata at a cafe. There he appreciates Kanata's efforts. Both then discuss the group named E571, who will be E601's next opponent in the match. During their conversation, they are interrupted by Yuri. Yuri, who is also having flashbacks of the time all of them used to fight together, tries to stay calm. She insults Kanata, to whom Kanata calmly listens and tells her that he is proud of his team. Rico also arrives at the cafe and tells Kanata that she thought she saw a ghost in the morning, but that it was her own shadow. Kanata finds this funny and laughs it off. This reminds Rico of her childhood when she was thought to be an idiot. Rico asks about E571, so Kanata takes time to explain it to her. Rico tells Kanata that she will not fight, and Kanata seems to be okay with it. When Lecty and Misora know about the match and Rico's rude behavior, they decided to go themselves to talk to Rico. They try their best to make Rico change her mind, but it was all meaningless. Kanata arrives at the scene and calms Misora and Lecty. Kanata continues Misora and Lecty's training and is able to see visible results. Rico stands back and observes the three having fun and training. Finally, Kanata gets a chance to bring Rico to her side. After a few days, it is now time for the match between E571 and E601. An alarm rings, telling everyone that the armed Beetles have arrived. Friend, who was alarmed at the right time, orders all of the E-ranked army to go and help to make the city safer. A lockdown is imposed on the country, while all the A-rank wizards will fight in the sky. Soon the fight started and E601 was able to evacuate the place at the right time, while Chloe was able to defeat all the Devil Beetles without any mishap. Yuri goes to Chloe and praises her. She goes on to say that she has decided not to use her weapon any longer. Alwyn interrupts their conversation and tells the two about a new group of Beetles army that was able to break the country's defense wall. Freon quickly orders every wizard to leave the dorms and fight to make the city safer. Misora also uses the training that Kanata gave her. Thus, the third time she was able to take down a squad of Beetles approaching them. Freon notices the presence of Chimera, the leader of the Devil Beetles. As a result, Freon instructs everyone to make every effort to kill Chimera in order to stop the Beetles. E571 works according to plan and kills Chimera, but the Beetles didn't stop. Kanata discovers the presence of another Chimera, which Rico is able to find soon. On Kanata's order, E601 starts the plan to kill the second Chimera. When the group thought they had exterminated the Beetles, another Chimera appeared and destroyed the city. Kanata takes it on himself and kills the big Chimera. The next day, during the E601 second match, Kanata thought that the team would overpower everyone. In reality, the team lost badly. The next day, Friend asks his group about the Chimera. Kanata proudly tells her that it was E601. Friend is not impressed because E601 is still unable to recover from its failures, especially when they destroy the whole city just to fight with the Chimera. On the other side, the team is not happy because they did not get any praise after defeating Chimera and saving the city. Kanata brings up the topic of the Miskin tournament by showing the girls the flyer. This tournament is important for everyone as the winning team would get the advantage of directly promoting 2 ranks. The 3 girls start to get excited about winning the tournament. Vroon calls Kanata to tell E601 to stay behind, as she wants them not to participate, but Kanata bets on E601. Kanata encourages the girls to focus on winning the tournament and ignore everything else. Misora is chased as a captain. All the team captains are now spinning a wheel to choose their opponent. When it's Misora's turn, she picks E571 by chance as their opponent. Kanata finds Yuri there, who is supporting an A-ranked team. A confident Kanata makes her bet that she has to join E601 if they win, and Yuri accepts. Kanata starts to train his team using a new method. A-ranked team interferes in their training and gets to kill all the fake Beetles with ease. So Kanata guides her fire team to work more on their teamwork. After the training, Yuri and Kanata go to have a personal conversation, in which they talk about Yuri's dating preferences. Kanata teases Yuri about having feelings for Chloe, which irritates her. Back at the office, Freon is given the report about the serial killer. They reveal that all of the victims are men, and that the unknown killer is working in descending order. Following the killer's killing pattern, they think that B-rank students may be in danger. Their guess comes true when a B-rank student gets attacked. The killer reveals himself as Rael Nuo. Rael Nuo is a scientist working at the same academy. The reason is that he wants to become the strongest person in the city so that Yuri may fall for him. He aims to get all of Yuri's love, and he has sworn to get it by any means. The next morning, Lecty finds Kanata jogging. During that time, both discuss the training regimens and the results they are showing. Kanata reassures Lecty and tells her to trust him, because he knows there is a reason he is employing this particular battle strategy. Lecty continues working in a restaurant, where she gets a boost in confidence. Sometimes she misses things, but the staff and customers take it easy. During their next training, Lecty notices that Misora is having a hard time with her assigned first position. Lecty sees her struggle through it and remembers all the good points she learned when she was working in a restaurant. She decides to praise and motivate Misora. This helps them improve their teamwork. After the training, Kanata seems satisfied with Lecty. On Kanata's order, all 3 girls are ordered to stay in the same area until the next match. Kanata and Yuri meet. Rail appears in front of the two. He attacks Yuri and Yuri tries to attack him, but finds it very difficult as she is unaware of Rail. When Kanata notices Yuri being injured, she decides to intervene and successfully stops all of Rail's attacks. Rail decides to leave when Kanata injures his hand. In the lab, Rail talks with the Chimera's eye, who tells him to get his revenge. Kanata takes Yuri to the Fire Teen girl's room. The girls call him a pervert after seeing Yuri's condition. Yuri gains consciousness, but finds herself naked. She grabs gun and shoots at Kanata. Kanata finally decides to flee after sensing the danger. Yuri gets up and tells the girls to trust him, as he had trained her the same way. Yuri thanks the girls for their help, but tells them that it does not mean that the A-rank team will let them win as she leaves the room. Finally, the Miskin tournament has begun. Just before their match, Misora and Kanata notice the empty stadium, but Kanata motivates Misora to do her best. The two teams finally come face to face. No one except Kanata believes in his team. When the match begins, both teams fly into the sky to fight. After a lot of struggle and teamwork, E601 was able to win their first match. On the other hand, Rail has decided to use Chimera's power to get to his love. For this, he injects himself with Chimera's powers. As more tournaments have passed, Frone notices that E601 is actually progressing and has made it to the finals. Now they would be facing a ranked team, a 227. A 227 instructor is Yuri. The girls have one last practice the night before the game. It is now time for the final match. Alwyn and Chloe decide to guard the stadium as the chances of Rail attacks are increasing. When Kanata and his team enter the stadium, the crowd refuses to welcome them, as no one likes them. The atmosphere changes when A227 and Yuri arrive at the stadium. This hurts E601 members, but Kanata keeps them motivated. The battles start. The team E601 wins when Misora uses the strike blaster on all three members of A227. The officials of the academy declare E601 the winner of this tournament. Real interruptions occur during this time. All alarms are activated as the city is alerted about the Beetle attack. Alwyn and Chloe say that it is a false alarm. At the same time, Rail makes his appearance and calls for Yuri. Misora notices that Kanata and Rail have the same body because she has seen Kanata using his powers. Kanata stops Rail from approaching Yuri by kicking in his face. Kanata tries to run without a fight but fails because of Rail's speed. He tells Yuri to leave the stadium as soon as possible. To stop Yuri, Rail attacks Kanata and this injures his leg. Rail breaks Yuri's sword into two pieces. E601 attacks Rail, which surprises Kanata. Kanata asks them to leave as it is very difficult, but the girls have made up their minds. On the other hand, Alwyn and Chloe also come to aid Kanata. They aid Rail and destroy his one arm. Soon enough, Rail turns into a monster. When Rail attacked E601, this made Kanata angry. So Kanata finally uses his real powers. As both have the same powers, it is very difficult for Kanata to overcome Rail. When Kanata falls to the ground, E601 takes over the situation and Yuri kills Rail with her spear. As soon as everything returns to normal, Yuri joins Team E601 as predicted, and Kanata reveals that the team will not be promoted because they destroyed the whole city while fighting the chimera.